Hey everybody, ICEYCAT here. Today we're going to do a walkthrough on the bank map and show you all the best hiding places, as well as tips, tricks, and strategies, whether you're on the attacking team or part of the defense. So let's start off our walkthrough with a tour of all the spawn sections. This is the parking front section. And if you start over here, you'll go straight over to the building here. We have a good overlook area here for a sniper. Glaz can come up here or twitch with an ACOG and see through some of these windows. And you can also go down this side alley here, which will take you kind of back in behind the spawn on the lower level. This is the jewelry front spawn. When you start over here, the bank is directly ahead of you from this position. It's kind of interesting when you start here, though. There's one that a lot of people overlook. You start, and usually this truck obscures this spot here, so you think you just walk straight ahead just like you do at the other position. But if you come on the other side here, there's actually, on the other side of this electronic sign, a sewer hole with access down below. We're going to follow this down and show you where this comes out. This will come through here, and we have a blown open hole in the wall, and this is going to take you right into the back of the basement and come out into the server room. Frequently, the bomb position is right in this room here, and it's a good place to start. Or alternatively, you can go up the stairs here and get into the main structure of the building this way as well. This is the back alley position here, and when you start in this position, you can either go over to the building here, or you can come up the ladder here, and I'm going to show you this section. Let's go ahead and hop up here. And there's not much going on. You can get Overwatch onto the back door here, as well as this side window area, and then there's this whole balcony patio area. It's mildly useful if you have somebody with an ACOG or maybe Glaz looking at this door, and then if that's taken out by Ash or some kind of breaching charge, that's mildly useful. But not a whole lot of work that you can do here as a sniper. One thing you can do is if you come over to this side here, you can jump off the edge. And this will put you right onto the patio. But you could have come up here just by simply rappelling off the side as well and, just coming up like that. So let's just take a walk back over to where we were before. So this is where we started. This was the ladder that went up. And when you come through in here, this will give you immediate access to this camera that's right in front of you. And we have this, let's start with this window. We have a vent access here if we need it. This will take us into the printer room, which opens up into the open area here. Or you can push through into the electrical room. And this will give you access to the skylight stairwell on the first floor here. Oftentimes there's a spawn position here for an objective, and sometimes there's a spawn position for an objective through this room in here as well. If you have the upstairs, this is the back side of that spawn position up there. So let's check out all the camera positions. Let's start with the exterior ones. So we're out here over by the back alley area, and our first camera is going to be right here on this pole. Go ahead and take that out. That is our first exterior camera position by the back alley. The next camera position can be easily reached whether you start on the jewelry front side or the parking front side. It's kind of in the middle here. And that's this camera here. This is sort of a limited camera. When you're viewing it as a defender, it only shows you like right up until here and then through till about there. And you don't see much else, so it's just sort of this. It's sort of limited. You can't see up on top of the building. You can't see to either side to see which spawn they begin in. But if you want to take it out, there it is. Our third camera position is just off to the side of the parking front spawn. If you come over here, go toward the front of the building and then go down the side alley here for the garage ramp. You'll see this cop car that's kind of blocking this access ramp here. And it's hidden right underneath this red no-go part of the sign. Let's just come right under it so you can see it. It's right here. And this has Overwatch kind of in this section here. So if anybody tries to roll up here, you'll be spotted if you try to make your approach. So we'll take that out. Our internal camera positions are going to start over here. The first one is in the lobby. This is the main lobby of the bank. And if you look straight up into the corner here, behind this pillar, is where you're going to see that. That is going to give you overwatch over the entire lobby. It'll show the position. If you try to come in through this area here, you'll be spotted. It also gives a good line of sight on this entire upper balcony. So this is a pretty important one to take out because it shows such a wide area. Our next interior camera position is in the skylight stairwell area. This is where you'll come through if you do a rappel from the ceiling, or sometimes when you come in from the back alley entrance, you'll come through that door down there. And the camera is going to be right up here in the corner. It's going to give you overwatch as a defender for this region here. It'll also kind of show you what's happening on the upper deck up until about the beginning opening of this hall here. So as an attacker, you're going to want to take out this camera, and that's right there. Starting from the main teller section, if you come through the office hallway here on the side by the elevators, you'll get a line of sight onto our next internal camera. This will give overwatch for the defenders on the stairwell here, as well as anybody coming down this hallway section, and can even show as people kind of come around through the door here. You want to take this camera out right up here in the corner. Our final camera position is going to be here in the vault lobby area in the basement. It's located next to the elevator and has overwatch to the front opening of the vault entrance, as well as the locker room area and the secure hallway. So if you're going to take this out, it's right here up above this light. Next up, let's take a look at our trapdoor positions. We'll start with the top floor and work our way down. So the first position here is going to be in the elevators. The first elevator on the left here is one that's open. And if you come in here, and we're going to go ahead and hit this and drop down into the elevators. Now, one level down, we're now on the ground floor. This next grouping of trapdoors is going to be clustered very close together, and we're right over here by the elevators, so this is the one that we just breached over here. And our first one is going to be in the stock trading room. We've got another one out here in the hallway, and then our third one right here in the janitor closet. And let's start with this one. We're going to go ahead and hit this, and this is going to take you down into the admin office. So you come down here, and this opens right into the open area. Now you can see in the ceiling here, we've got our other two panels, and we'll just show you what those look like. This is the one that's in the hallway, and if we breach this, again, this pops down right into the open office area where we were a moment ago. And if we come over here to the stock trading room, we have our third one. You can get a pretty fast access to this one if you start in the back alley by then coming through this window here. And this will give you line of sight into the cubicles below. Oftentimes there will be somebody sitting right down here and they're watching this door. So you can get the drop on them as they're oftentimes maybe crouched down and, peeking out. And if you get that, you'll be right above them for this. This will also give you good overwatch on anybody that's checking this area. So now back on the first floor here, we can begin looking at these trapdoors. The elevators will always work going down. So to get from the second floor, you drop down on the first one on the left one. And then if you want to get into the basement here, you can hop up here, and on the right elevator, you can come in and hit this. And this will bring you down into the basement. You'll notice when you drop down that you've got this card in front of you which sort of blocks the line of sight to the vault. That's handy so that when you pop down, you're not as easily taken out. However, as a defender, if you want to be aware of that, can go ahead and take this out so that when they drop down, they're not obscured at all. Our next camera position on the first floor is right over here in the main lobby area. We're going to jump over here, and this will now be in the teller section. And when you pop this one, you are going to come down right into the vault entrance. This is a risky one to go into, but you can lob some flashbangs in from there and kind of soften up this area, but it's pretty risky. You need to be careful of people kind of hiding in corners or waiting for you on that. They can also be behind the desk here and be ready for that as well. And this also gives them fast response if they're in this position to the elevator trap as well. Our next trapdoor is going to be in the open area here where we were before. This is the room that has the multiple ceiling breaches. And over here on the side, we have an access hatch that will drop us down into the secure hallway. So this gives you access to the side of the vault if you come through here. This also gives you immediate access to either the locker room if the objective happens to be in this room, or it gives you fast access to the CCTV room if the objective is in here. Back once again in the open area, this is the hatch that we just breached through. If we come over here to the admin office, which also had its own ceiling breach from above, from the janitor closet, we can go right through the floor here, and this is going to drop us straight into the CCTV room. Oftentimes, this position right here is where an objective is, and so you can come through pretty much right on top of it. Our final trapdoor is going to be located down here on the first floor in the skylight stairwell area, and it's right here in the middle of the room. We'll go ahead and pop this. And this will bring you into the server room, which gives you fast access to the CCTV room. So as we approach the front of the bank here, we're going to be faced with these 3 front main doors. You can also rappel up the sides here to get to the roof with all the skylight access. Let's just walk in the front door. We have this immediate section here. If you wanted to get an early drop on anybody coming through here as a defender, you could be prone on the floor here on either side and looking this way. And as we come through, we've got this huge open lobby area. If any roamers are here and they're waiting to get a drop on you, this can be a deadly zone to walk through. You're also going to have that camera up there to kind of contend with, so be careful on this approach here. You're also going to want to be careful of the vault teller area here, because people could be behind here, and that would give them pretty good cover as they engaged you as you came through. All in all, this is a somewhat high-risk entry into the building because of all the areas you have to be careful of. You can also come down through the skylights. This, frankly, is borderline suicidal. When you come down these things, you're just even more vulnerable because you're on a point that you can't get away from easily. And I've killed people coming through these skylights pretty easily. I would recommend not doing that. You can also gain access through here on the back section. And I'm going to show you how to get to that back section right here. So again, this is the front of the building where we just were. If you come down this garage ramp here, you'll see this stalled out squad car that I showed you before. And it has a breaching ramp right on the front of it, a tactical breaching ramp. And we'll just come up on top of the roof here. You can get access up to the higher roof by rappelling here as well if you'd like. But these are the windows I was talking about just a moment ago. And you could breach through these if you wanted to. This is a slightly safer way because they're usually going to be facing the other direction. You do have the wall for coverage. You can get some lines on them if they're sitting up on top waiting for you. Or you can come in easily on the bank teller position here. You can also breach through this wall. And this is going to give you great line of sight onto the office area back through here. So if you had something longer range, I don't have it right now, but if I had something with an ACOG sight, I could look down here and keep a little bit of watch on the open area where there's oftentimes an objective placed in there. And this will give you that long range protection that the defenders usually can't engage at. I mean, you can go pretty far back here and make yourself a very hard to hit target and still keep watch on that. You can come up on the roof here. Any side of the building will grant you access up here. And there is a whole network of skylights up here. And these two will give you access to the open lobby area in the first floor. I don't recommend using these. They're just a good way to get yourself killed. But you can come over here, and this will give you access to this stairwell here. You could come down here if you wanted to. But what I think is more useful about this skylight is that it gives you a sight line down here that you can sort of keep an eye on. There's moderate use to be gained from that. And the final position is the skylight stairwell over here. This is right over from the back alley spawn entrance and the patio area up here. If you come over here, you can see down into this section a little bit, get some lines of sight if you want. And you can obviously go ahead and rappel straight down. You can breach through the wall here, and this will give you access into the next room. But you do also have a door here that you can come through, but if they've got that castle paneled or anything like that, you can come through this section. One thing you can do in this room as a defender that's kind of neat is if you think that somebody's going to come through here, you can set up a trap and wait right here behind this divider, and they kind of won't be expecting that as they come through, because usually they're going to look straight ahead of them and then softer right, and this is easily overlooked. So if you think they're going to roll through that area, that's kind of a good little spot to get them. You can also come through this door here on this side, and this will give you access to this room over here for the open hallway. And this will give you fast access back into here if you don't want to navigate the hallway to get there. This next section is the archives. Sometimes when people come through here, they like to be back in this corner here and sort of trap them as they come through. This entire wall is breachable, so you could come through, you know, any of these walls here and get somebody if they were waiting. The back of this room here has a window that overlooks the skylight stairwell area. And back in this corner here is going to be a room that's often an objective room. So let's take a look at that. This is where you'll come through if you start in the back alley entrance. This is the electrical room, so the back alley spawn is right back over there. And if you came through this way, when you come in, you're going to be faced with a choice when you come through here. You can either go ahead to the archives over there, you can go downstairs here, you can access the back of this room here, or this is the room I was talking about before, which is oftentimes an objective. You can make a hole in this wall if you need to get an angle on this position here. Sometimes that can be helpful. When you're in this room as a defender, you're going to want to be very careful because there's a lot of wall space here. You generally don't want to shell up in this one room. You want to kind of spread it across the two rooms so you can respond to more threats. These panels here you're going to want to go ahead and reinforce these because they can come through at any point here, and if you've got the hostage or the bomb in here, and they'll just come right through. This one I wouldn't worry about, and I'll show you why here. If you come through into this other section, this is the admin office. And so you can control this by controlling both rooms and not worry about wasting your panels there. But where you do want to put some more panels is right here, because this gives access into that archive room that we were just in. So these sections of the wall here can come through pretty easily. So if you wall up these with reinforcement panels, and then also cover your trapdoors, you've got 1, 2, 3 of those trapdoors in here, and then also reinforce this wall here, you'll be pretty well covered. The only other one you have to kind of watch out for, all these walls here are unbreakable, is this side entrance here. As an attacker, you can come through here pretty easily, and you could reinforce this whole wall, but I sort of think that's a waste of time. I think a more efficient use of your time would be to maybe make a hole in the wall here, and then you can just watch that if you wanted to, or else put a trap there or something like that. As an attacker, you're generally going to come through here and have a line of sight like this. And there's some tricks that you can do to kind of give yourself an advantage as a defender. One of those would be, I mean, oftentimes people will get prone and they'll sort of lean out. That's certainly viable. You can do that. But one thing that you might want to do, and I would recommend doing this only if you've reinforced this trapdoor, but you can actually, people will do this often, but what's even more effective than this is if you come down to here and then just go ahead and open up a hole here, and you can actually get rid of this computer by coming over on the side here, and it's being difficult, but you can knock this over there. And you can get a line of sight through here. And this is a little bit harder to dig you out of. You're a little bit better protected. And you can have more of an open shot here as opposed to kind of hanging out on the side. If they did somehow manage to come through the trapdoor above you, you can sort of hide under the desk as well. And then when they pop down, you can just sort of turn and respond. So if we come up these stairs here on the side, we get access into this conference room here. And this room here is often an objective room. This is the executive lounge. And likewise, the CEO office is another popular objective spot. And this is a really good one to hole up in as a defender because, you know, you've got some good cover points here that are easily controllable. And this room here is a little bit more open with all the window things going on, but these can all be barricaded. What you need to worry about, though, are these walls here, so you want to reinforce these two walls and these two walls, as well as this series of walls over here. What we have on the other side of this is the janitor closet, so if one were to breach through here, if you were coming through as an attacker, you would have pretty open access to here. Although I would recommend if you came through here to actually breach this wall, so that would give you the line of sight directly behind the desk if anybody was hiding behind there, and would also give you good line of sight if anybody's behind this bookshelf unit, so that you kind of come through and immediately look left instead of having to split your focus. Another way that you can get through here is if you were in this front office section, you could make a hole in this wall, and then this would give you pretty good line of sight in through here as well. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the basement stuff. We're on the garage ramp here, and we're just going to go ahead and get through here. They have a neat area down here, sort of a parking garage area, and you can come around, back behind this truck, and right here is the entrance into the lower part of the basement, and sometimes there can be some firefights that will happen here. This is a breachable wall here. You can come through here if you want to, and you have a choice. You can either go straight ahead into the secure hallway, or you can come left here, and this will take you into the bottom of the stairwell. These are the stairs that come up from the office area. And when you come through here, we've got the vault on our side along with the elevators. This is a very difficult way to try to take on the vault. Half of your shots are going to get blocked by these bars, and you're going to find some frustrating things going on there, so you need to be careful. Sometimes the locker room here is an actual bomb objective position. They'll probably have this, boarded up. Maybe these walls will be reinforced. If they're not, you can come through these walls easily enough. None of the ceilings here are breachable. You cannot get into the ceiling except for a couple of hatches like this. Otherwise, none of the ceilings are breachable from above with cluster charges or anything like that. So you've got some walls here, and you can come through this one, but one that people sometimes will forget about is if you come into the vault here, and the objective is in that locker room, you can actually put a charge on this wall.
Setting charge.
And that will open that up quite nicely, and then you've kind of got yourself a position here. These walls here and here are also breachable. So there's plenty of other ways to get through down to the basement too. We can come through this skylight stairwell area and down the stairs here. This will bring us over into the server room. You can also get here through, this is the tunnel entrance by the sewers that I showed you earlier when we came through the jewelry front spawn with the stairs that go, or the ladder that goes down to the sewers. Same room. This is where you come out here. So this room can be deceptively difficult to engage. When you first come in, you've got a little bit of a blind spot behind this server panel here, so somebody could be back behind here waiting for you to come through from either position. So you do need to be kind of aware of that. But when you come through, you can also face somebody kind of waiting for you to step through this door here that will light you up. And you can obviously breach through this wall if you want to take care of that. That will make it so that the area isn't as tight when you come through. And then you can sort of, engage somebody behind that door, or if they're behind the desk here, you can get at least a little closer. You can breach this. This is the area I was saying earlier was a breakable wall. If we go ahead and open that up, you'll see what I mean. So this will give you a line of sight straight down this hallway, which is the side entrance to the vault. And if you take this all the way back, this will give you access to the vault from the side. This can be a deadly area, though, because when you come through, you'll probably have defenders in here. You may have some defenders over here, maybe sitting in a corner, sort of waiting for you to come through. Again, none of these ceilings can be breached from above. So as a defender, this is sort of the area you want to be in. It's interesting that you can't break through any of these walls in here. None of these ceilings can be breached. None of these walls can be breached. If you're in the vault, there's literally only two ways in. This door and the main vault door. And it's pretty easy to lock it up. A lot of times people will be, you know, crouched down here waiting for somebody to step through. And they'll have, you know, good coverage protecting them from the vault door while they watch this angle here. Grenades are going to be your friend, but then again, if you've got Jaeger in here, that's going to make it difficult. This is a hard position to assault. Other than your trapdoors, you cannot breach through these floors at all for the partial breaches or cluster charges to the basement, other than the trapdoors. So the only place that you're really going to be able to make use of that type of thing is if you go up above and they're on the ground floor. And I'm going to show you how that works. So all these floors are kind of this marble or granite or what have you. But in here, in these three rooms here, you've got these wooden floors, which will work very nicely. And you can place a breaching charge or a cluster charge on any of these. Just look for that yellow marker to tell you that you can place it on a surface that's partially breachable. You can't drop through it, but you will open up a sight line that you can shoot through. Now, we've got line of sight into the back of this room here. That's right below us, behind the teller room. You can go ahead and put in a cluster charge, you know, say like back into this corner here. And let's go ahead and hop downstairs real quick and see what that sort of looks like. So that's going to come through right here and fill up this area. So if you've got somebody that's, you know, maybe they've got a deployable shield and they're scooting around down here. And you can do this, by the way, for any section of the room. I mean, any of the part of this ceiling you can partially destroy like this, or you can place a cluster charge on. So, you know, if they're over here, you can do it over here. Or this area right here is directly underneath the conference room with that big long table. So anyway, if I wanted to show that cluster charge, let's just go ahead and hit that. That's going to fill this whole section over here. You see, it even came all the way over here. Anybody in this part of the room would have been taken out. So very effective ways to kind of use this. If you even kind of place it more sort of in the middle, maybe it would have filled out this middle area a little bit more. But, I mean, pretty good coverage there. Likewise, you can do the same thing here. Right now, we are underneath the CEO office. So if we were in the CEO office and we wanted to get line of sight, for instance, a lot of times a guy will hide back in this corner here. We can put that cluster charge right here, and that would come down on top of him while he was in the corner. Or cluster charges are a little harder to use in this room because of all the vertical surfaces. They'll sort of break the spread of your device going off a little bit more in here. And then underneath us right now is the open area for the office with the cubicles. This is the other spot that you could do this on. So we've got a trapdoor here, and this comes down over that section I showed you earlier. But if you wanted to, you could open up other sight lines by placing a breaching charge on the floor there, and then that will open up lines of sight that you can get them. Here's one of the cubicles right down here, so you can get them if they're back there, or if they're watching the window here. You know, maybe if there's somebody kind of has a hole in that wall and they're checking that area, you can get a line of sight on them. And you can move this down further or up here. Right about here is where that bomb position is going to be. So if you really wanted to kind of fill this area, you would go maybe about here. So sort of in between these desks. And then if we were to go downstairs, I'll show you what that looks like when that detonates. And we'll have a pretty effective zone of destruction. It's going to come through right about there. So let's go ahead and pop that, and you can see what that looks like. I mean, look how that fills this area. I mean, just this whole area has been pretty well covered by explosions. Let's take a look at some of the drone spots now. We can come through here, and if you start over by the jewelry front, there's an external vent right on the side here. So this is kind of halfway down this wall of windows. And if you come down here, this is going to take you down. This is a horrible vent if you think about it. I mean, any rainwater would immediately come through and fill your basement. But there you go. It'll drop you down into the basement. This is at the bottom of the stairs just off the electrical room from the skylight stairwell. And this will take you into the server room as well as the CCTV room. We have another way to get into the basement, and that's going to be through the side alley here. If we come down over by the garage ramp, right over here, right where the ramp starts to go down, there's a vent. And this is an even weirder vent than the other one. My God, the amount of rats and water that would be coming through this building are horrible. But so you come through here through this like maze of vent work. It's going to drop you out right over by the vault entrance across from the locker room. You can leave your drone up here. This is actually an interesting place to leave your drone because you can sort of get them coming back and forth and they may not think to look up here. Actually, a really good spot over here. If you kind of come in the corner behind the vault door here, sort of has a good overwatch if they're coming back and forth in this section. Another way we can come into the building here is through the front door. We've got these 3 main doors. And if we come through here, there's actually this pile of debris here. It has a little channel for your drone to slip through if you wanted to do that. You could leave the drone here and have overwatch, but it's a somewhat limited area, but it's a fast way to get in and get into some other areas. You could leave your drone, in fact, in any of the positions within the room here. Get up on top of a few things. That opens up your sight a little bit better. This is a far more useful advantage than being on the floor. You can get up on top of pretty much any of these desks or counters or things like that as well. Similar kinds of vantage points. Sometimes you'll start up here with your drone, and this is a bizarre spot. I have no idea why they have your drone start here. You can go around this entire perimeter and be obstructed. The only way to get off is to literally jump over the side of the building here. This will take you down into the, you can see my character there through the wall. That's down in the back alley spawn. And you can jump down, or the only mildly useful thing you can do is if you come over here in this section, you can, over by the tree here, jump over the side, and this will land you onto the patio. It's just sort of a bizarre position to start your drone in, because I've watched people, in fact, the first time I ever did it, I sort of ran around the perimeter and I didn't know how to get off of it until I was like, I guess I have to jump over, but I wasted time looking for a vent or something and there just wasn't one. See this soda machine here? If you come through here, you're going to go into the next room. I'll show you what this other room is. This is this janitor's closet that we were in before. And if you go right in at the base of the soda machine, there's a vent here. This is the janitor's closet. And then there's another vent here, and that puts us right into the CEO room. One area that's really great is right under here. I'm looking right at it. The drone's right there. But you can't see, even if I get right on top of this thing. If you come into here, there's not a lot of places for you to go, but you can get underneath some things here. You can also get some higher elevations if you try. You can also get over on top of the counter here, and there's some spots here where they maybe wouldn't be expecting to see a drone. Down here on the ground level, we also have a quick way to get downstairs. You can go over here, and you can go down the stairs if you want to, or you can do something a little bit more subtle. There's this little gap right here. It's a small gap. We can drop down here, and we're right down in the elevator already. There's also a good spot here. There's this, these little potted plants that are kind of around the map in a few spots. And you can put the camera in there, and you can still spot, but they're very hard for the defenders to see them in these positions. So this locker room is sometimes a source of an objective, and you can come in here. There's places where you can, get underneath desks and hide, or one good way that I found to do things, though, is there's, if you can manage to pull it off, you can get a good jump going up here, again, by looking up. When you get up there, you're harder to see, but you are a little visible. It does kind of stand out. So if you take it one step further and just sort of come down on top of these binders, very carefully so you don't cause them to be disturbed. Now I have overwatch for this whole room, and look how hard I am to see up there. You don't see me at all. If you manage to get in here, you can find some spots to sort of overlook the vault, but you've got a lot of these bars that will sort of obscure sight lines, but you can definitely get in underneath shelving units and things like that. If they kind of try to hide in this one corner, you can see them pretty good there. Here's one of my favorite spots in the vault here. There's this duffel bag here, right? And if I look up, I jump high. If I look forward, I jump, more aggressively out. But if I look up, I jump high. And I can get on top of this duffel bag in one jump, and then wait for the 1 second for the cool off, do it again. And now I'm up on top of here. This is a horrible spot for the defenders. If you can get access up here, they're not going to think to look up here. And you can really get some good sight lines that they're not going to think to look for. Nobody's going to be expecting a drone up here. Just absolutely nobody. And it's pretty easy to make that jump. It's just two well-timed jumps and up you go. One other trick you can do is you can actually get your drone on top of a bomb. And it works pretty well in some situations, but not others. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So here's your bomb, right? If you come right up to it, right on the side, and look up, go ahead and make your jump. You can actually kind of roll around on this thing a little bit, sort of position yourself. And this is how it's not going to work. This is a very well-lit area. It's very bright in here. And as such, your drone sort of stands out to a certain degree. It's kind of easy to see there. But check this out. If I do the map on a nighttime variation instead of a daytime, the lighting is more subdued overall. What's really important is the lighting that the bomb emanates itself. We're in a darker spot. I'm going to jump my drone up, put it up top here. Now check this out. It gains the lighting from underneath and winds up looking a lot like part of, these nozzles and tubes and pipes. So when you're running around, look how well that blends in. Like if you're a defender and you're not paying attention for that, super easy to miss. And if those red lights pop on right there, it's going to look like the red lights that are on the rest of the thing. It's very easy to blend into its environment. So when you're doing this on a nighttime map, putting it up on top of the bomb, just don't move it. That's the important thing. If it's rotating left to right, then you're going to pick it up. But if it's just standing still, it'll be very easy to blend into its environment. And if you don't bother with spotting, you can get away with a lot using this. So that's going to wrap up our walkthrough of the bank map. I hope you're able to learn some new ways to go through the map that you didn't know before. Maybe a place to put a drone, a way to breach as an attacker, maybe something to hold up as a defender or open up a new sight line. There's lots of interesting ways to navigate these maps, and the bigger ones are especially complex. Last week I did the house map walkthrough, and if you haven't had a chance, please go check that out. Next week I'm going to do a map that I haven't revealed yet, and I'm going to leave that up to you guys to decide which one. So down below in the comments, just share with me and let me know which one you'd like to see a walkthrough for, and the one with the most votes is the one that I'll do. During the month of December, I'll be collecting submissions for a free copy of Rainbow Six Siege for the Xbox One. This will be a digital download code only, and here's how it'll work. I want to reward subscribers to the channel. So if you're a new subscriber, type the word recruit in all capital letters in the comments down below, and tell me why you'd like a copy of the game, as well as something you'd like to see me do on the channel. If you're a veteran subscriber and you've been around for a while, I want to reward you too. So type the word veteran in all capital letters in the comments below. Tell me something new you'd like to see on the channel that hasn't been covered before, and why you'd like a copy of the game as well. The winner will be chosen just before Christmas. I'll take one winner from the veteran pool and one winner from the recruit pool, and there will be a 50-50 chance which one gets the game in the end. So to give you the best chance of winning, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.